The most beautiful part about wellness, and I love that you've asked it like that, is that it's bare minimum. Studies have shown that when we are growing in community, there's already ease, there's already stress relief. Wellness is so diverse because it goes across all sectors: the physical, mental, spiritual, financial, social, intellectual, environmental. So anything that just looks at productivity, that in of itself is contributing to wellness, not just as an industry, but as a lifestyle. In a country like Uganda, a lot of SMEs, all the small businesses, are the ones that are also contributing a lot to the economy. There's a border guy to look at this side, or there's a car to look at this side. By the time you get to work, there's no way you're going to get the most out of that person. There's no productivity. It was recently declared in Nairobi County that women can take a menstrual leave. We're seeing the rise in non-communicable diseases. And just because they're non-communicable diseases doesn't mean we should not talk about them. Guys, let's talk about it. You have diabetes. It's okay. You've got heart issues. It's fine. People, we need to normalize talking.
Welcome yet again to another episode of the podcast on sectors. Now, we're very lucky today because this podcast is about achieving a middle-class economy. And how do we achieve that middle-class economy without talking about leadership, women in power, and just economic empowerment? I'm your host, Agi Patricia Turomwe, and I'm a communication strategist. I feel privileged to be hosting my friend, Miss Rianne Bateeze. She is the founder of the Wellness for Her Club community, which I'm proud to be a part of. And I thought, you know what? Let's not gatekeep. Let's bring this conversation to the podcast on Uganda and see how do we elevate women? How do we empower them? Not just women, actually, individuals, organizations. She helps them create. She helps them become more innovative, but also holistically fit. So welcome to the podcast, Rianne.
Thank you so much, Aggie. Really, really blessed to be here, not just in your company, but on your amazing project where you talk about and bring a lot of light to many topics that are very important here in Uganda. Thank you for the work that you're doing.
Well,
we are grateful. Really feeling good today.
Yeah, you're now here. First of all, I'm so proud to be a part of such a brilliant community, vibrant. Every time you go into the community from work, from home, you always feel energized. And I wonder what gaps you were solving when you started Wellness for Her Club.
Wow, I love that you've asked that because actually there was a very big gap, very big. Actually, it's Wellness with Her Club because initially it was for her. And we realized you can't say you're doing wellness and you think you're doing it for people. You're actually doing it with people. Because first of all, no person is an island. Another thing is when you're down, someone else is up and they're definitely going to hold you up, which means you're doing it together. And that's what our community does for us every day. And the need for Wellness with Her and all the programs that it presents, of course, seeing Uganda, it is a kind of culture whereby we don't have a lot of gym culture. Our movement is from physical activity whereby we are going to work. We are running. We are maybe going for a marathon if you're into running, or if you're, local football here and there. But when you talk to a lot of people, especially in the CBD or in nearby areas, you find out that there's not a lot of fit culture. I'm sure you can attest to that, seeing as you're a sportswoman. Yeah.
Nothing makes me prouder to just walk the streets or drive through the streets on a Sunday and there's so many people just jogging and running.
It's so wholesome, and I love that at least many of us are now embracing that. Just this Saturday, there were over 6 runs going on. I know it was so interesting, and I was so encouraged because it means we are definitely moving actively towards a more fit and healthy lifestyle for Uganda. And that's exactly what informs our ethos as Wellness with Her. I used to do dance fitness. And as you know, Wellness with Her has a program called the Wato Movement Workshop, one of our favorites. And a lot of women come together and they love to dance because dance is a release, but it's also something that keeps you very neurologically cognitive. You're able to actually say A plus B is equal to C, especially through choreography and steps and routines. And also, it does so much to release stress and calm us down. So I used to do this, but imagine doing dance fitness from Monday to Friday, actually even some Saturdays. As the female, we are not supposed to do that. As much as we would love to, this hustle culture in fitness says that, go, go, go. It's very testosterone boosted because men are the ones who are very predominant in the fitness culture. But now we are seeing a time whereby more women are becoming personal trainers, they're becoming physiotherapists, coaches, wellness and lifestyle coaches. So you realize that we cannot do cardio 7 days a week.
Who says? Is that backed
It's
by
actually backed
research?
by facts because we are now tapping into the menstrual cycle, whereby the menstrual cycle has 4 kinds of flows. We have, of course, the menstrual, we have the luteal, follicular, and ovulation.
Briefly give us a hint
Okay.
on all 4, because I know there's
Yes.
a lot of questions around it.
For sure. So the menstrual cycle is, of course, in women, or what we call the womb holders. And a menstrual cycle runs for most people normally from 27 to about 29 days, what we call a moon cycle, because it ties into the way the moon tides flow. Yeah, I mean, that's, of course, on one side of it. But scientifically, it follows a calendar of 28 to 29 days, depending. Now, through those 28 days, it's not consistent, whereby we're seeing men have a kick of testosterone. By kicky, I mean it's very straight, a straight graph.
Someone told me that's not true. So he was a CEO in a health community in
Yeah.
Nairobi, and he's like, we're never like that. We also have highs and
They
lows
do.
1 minute, especially if you're a leader.
Because of neurochemicals mainly. It's not because of hormone. Let's not get it twisted. It's true, it's not going to be linear because the body is influenced by a lot of things. But if we were to plot changes on a graph, whereby a woman, let's say on day 7 on her cycle, she's on a low, day 14, it's going to look very different. Whereby for a gentleman, it's just going to be not so off, depending on the neurochemicals or what he has been doing during that time. So yes, while that CEO is very accurate about that, we are human beings, naturally it's going to be impacted. However, for women, you have to say it's a very different margin when it comes to the changes that happen, especially like physiologically, neurologically, like everything going on is topsy-turvy, as a lot of women can testify. So we're looking at, for example, the cycles, which is the menstrual, which is usually 1st to the 7th day or the 5th day, depending on how you really go through it. And then that's where we're going to the follicular phase, whereby now your body is healing, it's now recollecting. And then you'll find ladies going straight into ovulation. This is what they call happy time. You can peace out and she'll say, it's okay, I choose peace. And you have more energy, whereby you'll find the cardio workouts, actually for us, we now feel energized, we feel rejuvenated, we feel renewed, we feel ready to do anything. And this is usually a good time for some people who say they want to try new things. It's always a good time because your body is literally telling you, let's do something new. Or according to science, it's preparing for a baby. So modern times are supporting that. Women are actually saying, okay, instead of getting a baby, why don't I try a new sport or try a new activity or explore a new interest, start a business? It's diversifying, but that's where the science leads to. It's because there's that urge to create something. And then we go on to the luteal, what people think is the worst phase. Honestly, my luteal phase, after tracking my cycle for a long time, is when I realized it's actually a superpower. It's telling us something. She just wants to be understood. Yes, you may be off, you may have mood swings, you may not be able to tolerate a lot of, in quotes, BS, but the truth of the matter is it's protecting you. It's kind of selective in that season, which is very good for women because it means nature is helping us set our boundaries when it comes to our time, our energy, our effort, where we're investing our resources. So personally, I feel like a lot of women, we need to wake up to that call of the luteal phase being our friend and not an op. May not feel the best for sure, but she's a good girl.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's usually the last phase. Then we go back to the menstrual phase. And through all this, our body is going through internal changes. But naturally, if the body is going through something, the mind is also going through something. And that's what made me realize me being angry at my coworkers at work at certain times in a month, they do the same thing like 2 weeks after and it's okay, means there's something going on.
Emotional intelligence.
Self-awareness.
Also for your co-workers,
Definitely.
there's one thing knowing yourself, but then your co-workers understand.
Like aligning with them, yes.
Yeah, the patriot is the listener or the watcher. They must be, one of them must be wondering, what are we talking about? What does this have to do with the middle class economy? Uganda registered 51% of the women's population in the 2024 census. So we are more than the men. And how do we all coexist, especially the workplace, or our Uganda, that we are able to work together and achieve that thriving middle class economy by 2040. Now, I know you talked about what is happening at the moment, what the landscape is like, but can you talk about wellness holistically? So from back in the day to today, what are the changes you have seen that you've paid attention to?
Well, that would definitely have to take us back to when wellness became something of a conversation, because you admit that while growing up, we didn't use the word wellness.
No, we didn't.
We used to use health, well-being, lifestyle. But even those were topics attributed to health was really coded to science. You have to be a doctor to talk about health. You have to be some sort of a different kind of personality to talk about lifestyle. So what we are seeing in wellness is the merging of worlds, and like you said, holistic. It's inclusive of every aspect of life. And if we pay attention to what the World Health Organization stated wellness to be, it's the active pursuit of a lifestyle that enhances your well-being or your health in general. So when you pay attention to that definition, we see that there is active and pursuit, which means there's no days off. As much as sometimes life, especially in a country that's trying to achieve middle economy status, some days are not easy. For example, you could wake up in the morning, you have done your breath work. If you even do your breath work, you've done your breath work, and you step out of the door, and a border is going to hoot. You said, okay, fine. There's just one border. And then you get into the main road, and there's traffic. So you say, okay, let me get into the traffic gently, and then someone hits your bumper. By that time,
you're in a cycle.
Oh my God. Imagine you're on a border now. There's like 6 borders also trying to pass by you as well. And you are thinking, am I safe? Am I alive? And then the person in the car is also wondering, why is this person here? Can't they go to the other side? So you'll pay attention and realize the cortisol levels have already risen, stress, which means productivity is already low. Where you'd be having someone who's mentally preparing for work, they're mentally fighting for their life. In that moment, that person is thinking, how am I getting to work alive? First of all, do I even need this job? Like, why am I going through all this? And that's just the normal person, or like on a normal day. Let's say you're going through your luteal phase. Your back is paining, you have a little headache starting at the back, or you're on your menstrual cycle. It's just day 2, you're thinking, is this menstrual product going to get me through that day? Am I 8 hours done? But then you're there's a border guy to look at this side, or there's a car to look at this side. By the time you get to work, there's no way your employer, or if you are the boss, there's no way you're going to get the most out of that person. There's no productivity. It's not guaranteed.
Hearing you
but it's true.
Describe it. It sounds chaotic. Yeah.
Think of, isn't it though? Isn't that the normal, like, Kampala day? First of all, I was even sitting next to someone today, and they said, this transport system has pulled out my nervous system and broken it into pieces. And that was the most accurate description I've had. I could not believe it, because it's true. We are at the mercy of constant distraction. We are constantly being stimulated. Like, imagine to pretend to not see the world. You're putting on a podcast, or you're listening to music. So it's like peace, inner peace. Then someone hoots, and you're like, okay. And you have to calm down. Yeah. Now imagine that's someone who knows how to regulate themselves. What about the people that don't know? This is the major workforce. Like you highlighted, 51.1% women. Half of those women are the people who are still on their active cycles, right? We're talking about the ladies who are ideally converting their income into what goes into the home. Because even right now, 90% of women globally are the major investors. That's why people talk about spenders. If you want spenders, call women, because they're the ones spending. Now imagine in a middle-class economy, if people can't spend, if people are not regulated enough to make sound decisions. If someone reaches the main road and says, "Hi, not today, not today, I'm going home."
Yeah.
Are we really going to get to that point? So a lot of factors intertwine to make this purpose more intentional. As Wellness with Her Club, we just look to have women who are aware of what's happening around them. You don't have to fight all the battles at once. You don't have to put out all the fires at once. But if you understand that there's a fire burning and you know what the source is, you know how to put out that fire, that's all you need. And that's what wellness is. Yeah, it's basically knowing that you can do something about a situation. And if you can't, it's okay. Do what you can. Oh, okay, so you went for a checkup. They found out that you are obese. Okay, yes, that's a problem because you're already in the red zone. But guess what? You see those 10,000 steps? Instead of taking the elevator, you've decided to take the stairs. Hey, that's a win. Oh, today you decided not to take soda. You decided to drink some water. That's a win. Naturally, when you also pay attention to productivity, you realize the body, even though initially it thinks it's under attack, it's going to start responding well because it realizes that you are for it and not against it. And before you know it, your mental health increases or improves. Your physical health, you're now stronger. You're able to make better decisions. You feel good in yourself. A person who feels good in themselves is going to be a very good worker. Like it or not, it's true.
And I think it's also nice to have practitioners who are just not health-based or focused, but also people who live and walk their talk like yourself. And it's nice today because, like you mentioned earlier, a lot of people probably just did farm work and just moved around, and now people are sort of defining the conversation on what wellness could be. And because there have been stats also about mental health cases in this country being somewhat top of Africa's list, you know?
Yeah.
And then when you see the stats, you're like, is that really true? But when you speak through it, you sort of see the likeliness of that fact. Yeah. Now, knowing what we know, okay, there's a patriot who's been struggling and they're trying to be living a more holistic life, but also in that way empower themselves. You've talked about different activities or options of actions you can take when you're feeling a bit low. You've gone through the test and the trials of Kampala traffic or just the infrastructure.
Yes.
Yeah, what other actions? So someone can decide to instead of a drink, take steps instead of the elevator. Yeah. What else? Practical.
The most beautiful part about wellness, and I love that you've asked it like that, is that it's bare minimum. One thing that really scared me, I'll tell you just a short backstory, is I was scared to really pour my passion into this because I said, I didn't study sciences in high school. And then I get to uni and realize, oh, wait, it's a free world. And there's resources and courses that one can study and actually enroll. Like you can learn through sports science, you can learn through wellness and movement. Like those are courses that now the world is offering on different levels, different countries, different institutions. And that's when I knew now it's time to tap in. And as they always say, information is free. The actual application is where the work comes in. So imagine you have taken 5 years as a passionate person. This was now COVID. I got invested because being indoors, I was depressed, far away from home, you're away from your family, and you're thinking, what am I going to do with my life? And I feel like I was also transitioning from youth who cannot pay bills to youth who has to pay bills. Yeah, that is a whole different arena. Yeah. So there was so much at stake, and you know how the world is segmented. They tell you, if you're good at this, you can't specialize in something else. So wellness provides that arena whereby you'll find someone who, let's say, is a trader or somebody who is a manufacturer, but they're passionate about fitness. And it's the most beautiful thing. Like you can get people in your neighborhood and just say, let's run here. They started something. I think actually 6 run clubs have opened just this year in different suburbs in Kampala. Listen, it's amazing because it's not that these people have a master's in running, sports science. No, they're passionate about health and keeping fit and community building. And that's what we are having. These are the real heroes. These are the unsung heroes. Because when, let's say you go out for a run with people who you don't know, someone is going to hold your hand, maybe if you're lagging, or you hold somebody's hand, and you laugh with someone and say, you've got this. Instantly, the endorphins that are going to come from that, neurochemically, your life has already changed. Like you're a new person.
Just randomly throw those words around.
Girl, it just really drives the point home. But yes, it's so beautiful to notice that most of us are now opening up to that fact. For example, what you're doing also with Sport Active for the suburb in Nalia, that itself shows community members that I do not have to be so pro, I just have to be active, right? I just have to show up and bring others with me. So community building studies have shown that when we are growing in community, there's already ease, there's already stress relief. You're just telling me, oh my God, today this happened, this happened, this happened. If you had something on your heart, it's already gone.
We all need community. We all
exactly.
Need community. But I love how you community. I love your energy.
Thank you.
You get into a room that Rianne is in, you feel the energy vibrate towards you. If you came in from a long day,
girl,
walk into the studio, you're just going to enjoy Rianne.
I love
Rianne's
that
energy, Wato movement, the whole wellness with her community.
Yeah.
Now, I also like that in this community, competition doesn't exist. Because like you said earlier, the medical practitioners are now partnering with wellness practitioners, like the C-Care event you had recently.
Yes.
Tell us more about that, because we are seeing more of the pros or the medical practitioners now interacting with the
wellness practitioners who are like alternative lifestyle.
Yeah.
That's very true. And it goes back to the gaps we're talking about. Like someone who has spent 5 to 10 years studying medicine is going to be really good at doing something, because already that's a lot of specializing, which means in one arena, that's their superpower, but in another, they definitely need a helping hand. And that's what we are seeing right now. For example, the program we had with C-Care, we were invited by a community called Gym and Bible to come together to create this synergy that it actually blew my mind. Because imagine you're having spiritual wellness, physical wellness, nutritional wellness, because there was an entity called Viva Uganda that supports people just purely with nutrition, plant-based nutrition. And Uganda is one of the best countries for plant-based nutrition.
We grow everything
Exactly. Hello. And then C-Care comes in with these experts who are talking about reproductive health in a way that's not shared in our circles. Because, for example, I could talk about backache and say, oh my God, my back, oh my God, my period. And then the gynecologist says, oh, according to the reproductive system, this is what's happening. Your egg is coming from here to here. Your uterine wall is shedding, which means there's going to be pain, and that's where your cramps come in. Then the nutritionist says, oh yes, cramps. There are foods, for example, green vegetables that support with helping the uterine wall so that you don't feel pain. Oh, and then, okay, the physical practitioners, the wellness with hand water movement say, good. Now there are these exercises that definitely will help you when you're going through this particular season in your life. And then Gym and Bible will say yes. And spiritually, you can back it up with faith, praying for health, longevity, well-being. And somebody leaves and there are no problems.
Generally, you flow like water.
Literally. you just
like
don't have that problem anymore, or it's not as heavy as it was.
Yeah. You're even more productive. You're more efficient because
better
the whole
decisions.
system.
Yes. Everything. It's
And
like
well.
a clog has been removed. Now the gears are moving. So just going back to how you had asked what else people can do, aside from doing the bare minimum of switching to like water or steps or community, there's also something they say, like, we shouldn't take ourselves too seriously. It's
Laugh a little.
yeah, laugh. Oh my God.
Yeah.
If I tell you the morning I had, I was talking about myself. See that thing of pee? Oh my God, that was me. And I was thinking, do I have to really go through this? I was ready to go home.
Yeah.
I was ready to go back.
No.
Because I said, yes, I'm loved at home.
Yeah.
I don't have to do this. There's easier ways to do this.
Choice.
But I said, you know what? At least you got to where you are going, and that's okay. And then I managed to laugh about the time I was almost thrown in a ditch. And I was like, okay, at least I survived that. Like, who is going to believe that story? But just being able to do that relaxes the heart. If the heart is tense, that's already a red flag. Why? we're seeing the rise in non-communicable diseases. And just because they're non-communicable diseases doesn't mean we should not talk about them.
So
Guys,
true.
let's talk about it.
Yeah.
You have diabetes. It's okay. You've got maybe heart issues. It's fine. People, we need to normalize talking about these things. And I'm glad.
Acting upon it.
Exactly. Because now in wellness spaces, there are conversations about that. We're seeing more of us getting vital checkups at least every month. Get one vital checkup. And if you're wondering where you can get them, there's a lot of spaces that are offering wellness checks, either freely or at a very, very standard low cost, which I think every person who is in the productivity world, who is working for their living, needs to do at least once a month. Because let's be honest, Aggie.
It's a bit much, no? Maybe 6 months.
By the vital checks, I mean the one where you check your blood pressure, your visceral fat, where you just get your weight. Or what they call the BMI, body mass index. Because you just need to know that the repercussions are not there. And this is the basic test. I'm not saying you go for thyroid. I'm not saying you go for blood work. That's the once a year or 6 months thing. I'm just saying, check.
The people in the labs don't like my face. I'm not
Really?
a fan of needles. It's not my thing. Never
I get
will
you.
be. But yeah, that's why
You and I
extend
both.
it to 6 months.
I could
But yeah,
sense
yeah.
that. No, but you know the most beautiful thing, and I love some places now, they have this little needle that just...
No, it doesn't
You
work.
don't even-
If they need to do real work, it needs to be through
That's the one. That's those checks, those long checks. But at least for the day-to-day person, you need to know what's going on. There's a lady we have even in our community, and she's sharing her testimony. What I love about Wellness With Her is you never expect what you hear. No. And when you do, you're like, oh, it worked. And she came and she said, I had not gone for a checkup in like 5 years. And we had to come for gym and Bible. And I come and check and they tell me I'm overweight. So there was a gynecologist at that edition for February. And she goes for a scan and she finds out most of her weight is coming from fibroids. She didn't know.
That's a conversation.
And so many of us are living with things we don't know we have.
Especially after 30. Like,
Yeah.
things are growing everywhere.
You
things
just
are,
don't know. And the beauty about things growing everywhere is they can go away. And that's through a lifestyle that's supportive. We all need it. I mean, there's a lot of grace to extend. Everybody's journey is unique. But if we pay attention to finding out what the problem is, I'm sure in every sector, across every sector, you can't solve a problem you can't, or you don't know, a problem you don't know. You need to actually look at it for what it is and then solve the problem. I think collectively, when we look back at a bigger picture, you realize someone who is well is actually enhancing the economy. They're supporting Uganda to the vision that we all want Uganda to be at. Yeah, so
They want, if we have to thrive, we have to be alive.
we have to. We need to put that on a t-shirt. I love it. So please, let's put that on a t-shirt.
We have to thrive, we need to be alive.
We need to be alive. And that's the gospel truth. Even for us as wellness practitioners, we are not perfect. Sometimes people look at me and say, oh, but you're saying do this. How come you're doing that? I say, hey, I'm not perfect. That's why I'm here. I'm here for you to hold my hand. And I'm grateful for ladies like you and all the ladies in our community. They hold my hand. They say, hey, it's okay. Hey, I saw you slumping your shoulder. Are you fine? I say, if I tell you the day I've had. But at least you're here for what will move me. Let's do it. And by the end, I don't even remember what the problem is because you've had a friend and you've had movement, you've had laughter, some nutrition, some wellness shots. Hi.
Community.
You can't find the problem. Yeah.
We need to stop also just operating in silos, in isolation.
Yes.
We can't thrive if
Yes.
we keep it to ourselves. There's
It's
solutions.
true.
There's something you're going through that someone has been through, and there can be solutions
100%.
within the closest community you have.
100%.
Okay. And now imagine there's a patriot who is also a policymaker, listening, watching. What are the recommendations based off of your experience in your line of work that you think, oh, this would have been much better? Or if you had a magic wand,
Hey.
what would you
Heavy on
change?
that magic wand. And first of all, I want to applaud some policymakers because I feel like over the years they've been the voice of reason, whereby things would have been backward. there's actually been some vocal support. I've seen some individuals in the Ministry of Health. I'll not name drop, but we just want to let them know that we are watching. And if there comes a day where I can physically give you flowers, I would. Because sometimes you listen to the way they reason and what they put forward, and you say, yes, this is actually what Uganda needs. We're seeing a space whereby our policy is acknowledging that this new economy requires new strategy, especially in health and medicine and lifestyle like that, whereby there's that awareness that not all pharmaceuticals are good for the human body. Recent tests, even in Uganda here, of the reproductive solutions people are using, like the emergency pill, is actually bringing up breast cancer. It's bringing cervical cancer for women, young women in campus. Imagine you're in a medical camp and a 19-year-old is telling you, I have got cervical cancer. There's only so much a heart can take. So just knowing that some people are saying, don't take too many pills. How about you try this? And that's where the nutritional and the herbalists come in. There's been that acceptance of them. I mean, recently they were graduating herbalists. And I said, wow, that's...
Where was it?
I think I'll just share the link so that you can include it in the resources. But I saw it and I was reading about it and I said, this is actually amazing, that they are giving voice to what is in front of us.
Yeah, no. Someone said
necessary
on, I think, Instagram, if God don't make it, don't take it. And there's a farm in Ginger. They just grow herbs to export to a big pharmaceutical in the US, for example. And then you say, okay, we don't have to
do that. Exactly.
Take them raw.
Thank you.
And now people are going back to the basics of nature, the herbs.
Yes.
Before we looked at it as a cake and
backward.
Evil.
The stigma came from, of course, that colonial time. But now it's a time to no longer lean back on history. It's time for us to look forward. And I love that you keep echoing that there's a vision for 2040. With just a few years left, there is substantial steps. And I think a question I'll have for you at the end is, do you think we can actually achieve that, in your opinion? But you answer that at the end, if it's okay. Yeah. And I love that you mentioned that there is a farm that's doing that. There's so many farms in Uganda doing that. And when you get down to the basics of the pills we are taking, it came from a plant extract somewhere. If it didn't come from a plant, they stole the plant, they made something good for themselves, and then they gave you the side things. So when we pay attention to that, it makes so much sense. But aside from that, I think what I would really want to echo for policymakers is normalize actually putting the information we put out into the systems, right? Whereby we say, and I love that Nairobi has done this. It was recently declared in Nairobi County that women can take a menstrual leave.
Oh, someone talked about
flowers to them. It looks like a small thing, but give it 2 years, 3 years, the stats are going to be crazy.
If you're a women-only company, as a CEO, I'm thinking everybody's on leave.
Oh, we do. We do go on. Do I tell you something? We do go on leave, but you plan. It's the whole planning
even
thing.
The flow won't get it right,
girl,
when the period is coming.
And you know the funniest thing with women is that our cycles align after some time. But this is the thing. If somebody is starting, let's say someone has started on day 1, by the time you're on day 4, someone else is starting on their day 1, and you're okay to be back in office. But then, of course, that requires a lot of transparency, which transparency and honesty you can't get from someone who's not well. Because our culture has normalized us hiding our problems.
But we are woke now.
We are waking up. I love that we are waking up. So imagine I'm able to be transparent with you and say, hi, you know what? Between these days of 22nd and 25th, I have to take a leave. I know through the month, I have to do my thing. So on that day, I'm taking my warm baths, I'm doing my gentle exercise, I'm probably resting in. Instead of waking up at 6 a.m., I'm waking up at 8. I'm catching up with my neighbors. I'm going home to my parents. I'm telling them, oh, this is what's happening. I'm going by the river. I'm resting. Honestly, by the time I come back, you're telling me my productivity is not going to increase. It's going to soar out of the roof. I know, especially because I think we have a dominantly privatized structure in the economy. It may be difficult to implement that, but it could be a step-by-step thing. Because we need transparency at the end of the day. Imagine like you said, an all-women company, everyone is going on leave. Who's going to work?
Government institution, if that passes, there'll be nobody.
You really think so?
Yeah.
I don't think so. But then again, this goes back to wellness. Personally, ever since I embraced this lifestyle, I don't see the point in lying. Lying actually weakens our nervous system. It does. It's like you're attacking yourself, and your body can no longer believe
lying
you.
to yourself. No, you have an option now.
Exactly.
Think of somebody who has no choice but to be at work. I mean, women are some of the most strongest people we know, right?
It's true. 100%.
Not that we should take on challenges, but ladies I really admire those who keep working till the last day. But some of them are just trying to avoid, just being lazy at home, or they're just productive in a way that they just want to keep going.
I don't think a leave means don't come to work, or if you feel like you cannot be at home, you can still go to work. You're just not going to be doing as much as you were doing before.
Okay.
That's
leave
what
normally means you're gone.
Really?
Yeah.
I've seen people who go to work on leave. And they're like,
love their jobs.
I need to go in at least half day. Half day. And then also their social connections are at work. Whereby, let's say she's going half day so she can go with her friends. She's going with her friends. Yeah. So I don't think it's a one-size-fits-all solution. No. Again, I'm also trying to study the situation that's going on in Nairobi, trying to pay attention to both public and private people, how they are sharing what's going to happen. Because it's just recent, so we don't know. But I know for sure Nairobi is going to testify that there's going to be a major change in the economy just because women have taken leave. We just need to realize women are, it could be a good thing, or for some people it's a bad thing. There's a burden of so much. Not just trying to match up in the work world, but also personal lives. Whereby if you have given birth, you have to nurture, you have to make sure that things are okay. Then you're also coming to work, you're an ambitious person. But as you're in the boardroom, mommy, I don't know what to do. And you're like, oh, okay. And you have to multitask. I've seen so many women do that. Kudos and shout out to them. However, we've noticed that workplace productivity increases when a woman is at least in charge of her body. If a woman knows the cue for calming down, if she understands, I'm talking about women because that's where we work, but I believe this also works with men. I've noticed it work. Love that. Hell, you need to speak for yourself. But yes, even with some of our ladies who come in, they're high end. I mean, when I say high end, sometimes they tell you their work and you say, hey, so it's you who's doing this. And you'll notice that she's coming to move because she understands that if I don't, I'll probably be yelling at a client or an employee tomorrow. And that in of itself is a superpower. So imagine the government, or there's a policy in place that says out of the year, every quarter, there has to be this many sessions for well-being in the workplace. There has to be sessions whereby the mental is supported, physical movement, if it's even once a month. I really believe the numbers will attest to that.
And we have to also credit those organizations that are already doing that. There's
definitely.
With gyms.
Yes.
Some of them have, what are those rooms called? For
the wellness centers.
Yes. But also for breastfeeding mothers.
Yes. And also napping rooms. Kudos for that. What a concept.
Are in the wellness space, no?
Yes, they are. 100%. Like we said, wellness is so diverse because it goes across all sectors: the physical, mental, spiritual, financial, social. Imagine all that: intellectual, environmental. So anything that just looks at productivity, that in of itself is contributing to wellness, not just as an industry, but as a lifestyle. Absolutely. And yes, like you said, kudos to those organizations. It's necessary. I really pray and hope even small business owners take this on, because in a country like Uganda, a lot of SMEs, all those small businesses, are the ones that are also contributing a lot to the economy. Absolutely. They're the ones that are giving people that money, the spending power they're having every day, as opposed to certain big entities, as people do not even know. So even small business owners, you deserve to have a workforce that is strong in of themselves.
I love it. Guys, you can tell the caliber of guests we have on this podcast. Rianne is so wholesome. As you can hear the word wholesome, and I love to see it. I love that you also get to share on this energy and vibe that she brings in every room she comes into. Now, our very last question we ask every guest that comes onto this podcast. Are you ready?
Yes, I am. Drum roll.
I know you already alluded to several things in Uganda, especially within the wellness ecosystem, that could help a lot of women become more productive and perform better at work. But I wonder, from where you sit now, for clarity, what do you think it will take for Uganda to achieve a middle-class economy?
I believe it's going to be an all-hands-on-deck situation. As a wellness practitioner, it would be unfair of me to pinpoint to one place because everything we do is holistic. And in recognizing that, I would say when we say all hands on deck, it's people like you, people like me. It's the hawker downtown. It's the patriot who is listening and watching this video. What can you do that is going to ensure that you are well enough to keep doing your best, to keep contributing to a structure that actually supports us, not just as individuals, but as a community, as a unit, as a nation. So that could be coming from the policymakers who are going to declare that once a week or once a month, all of you have to be exercising. Down to this hawker who decides that, you know what, I'm not going to engage in the bickery on the street today. I'm just going to keep my peace, sell my things, thank my Lord and go home. I'm not going to bicker. I'm not going to be wicked. Because that's just, it's the little things that make a big difference. So to the patriot listening to this, I would say, again, it starts with one to contribute to the many. To get a bouquet, you begin with one rose. And that's what this economy deserves. It's what it has always been. But imagine if now we're all consciously owning our lifestyles. We're saying no to too much alcohol, no to too much smoking, no to too much emotional banter. If somebody's not your portion, it's okay.
Or block.
Do you know how many women are in Uganda? You can get new friends.
2%.
Come on. You can get new friends. You don't have to stay in a toxic friendship. Get into spaces whereby your mind is stirred. And I think that's what spaces like this podcast, spaces like our Community Wellness with Her Club do for us. We go beyond just seeing a person. We see the potential in that person.
Yeah.
And that's what I think Uganda needs for the great future that we are going towards.
Oof. We will end it right there. Thank you so much for being a guest on the podcast.
Thank you so
time
much
for this. We have just rapid fire questions.
Yeah.
Middle class, not middle class. So you'll give us three reasons what is happening today that is middle class and what we should let go in the lower the low economy. So middle class?
Yeah, this is tricky, but more conversations on health and well-being and more people having smartphones and access to technology. Nice. That's definitely middle class. And more people recognizing the importance of being tied to our roots, like farming at home. We're having more people who are building at home, setting up farms at home, buying land at home, as opposed to selling it out to people who don't belong to the country. So I think that's definitely taking us to middle class.
Brilliant. Not middle class. Someone was saying
these roads. Yes, these roads. My God.
Not middle class.
Those are my two reasons. I don't even need anything else. It's definitely the potholes and also insecurity. This is something that we've been seeing more Ugandans talking about, thugs who are holding guns, coming out at night to attack people. Imagine someone is closing their shop, their mobile money stall, and they're being thugged at gunpoint. There's nothing they can do except surrender. We definitely need better as a country. It's definitely not helping us as a middle-class economy. It's not going to do anything for us. So we need more security. And please, for the love of God, better roads.
Absolutely. If there's one thing we're going to take out of this conversation is if women are empowered, we're going to have economic empowerment leading us into that middle class economy.
Love it. And just one question for you, Aggie,
Yes.
as the host of this amazing space.
Yeah.
Do you really believe by 2040 you're going to be speaking in the present?
I hope so. Now, the question will be, are we thriving in it? Because now with the oil, the prospects look really bright, but do we thrive? You know, are women being included? Are we getting the proper education we need? Do we have the health facilities? So all those things need to also act right. Yeah,
Definitely.
I think so.
I look forward to that conversation. Come 2040.
We'll be thriving. Then we'll be talking, are we thriving or not?
Looking forward.
Let's take a moment to appreciate our partners of the podcast today. As you can realize, we are taking things a notch higher. So we really want to appreciate the Tribe Africa. We want to appreciate the Skyline Media for producing this beautiful episode. And we look forward to more episodes to come. Thank you so much.